What we do here is go back.
You never know, this might actually work. Good evening everybody, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. Yeah, we're back after our week off. Well, it wasn't really a week off, it's been a week of utter pain and misery, but you don't want to hear about that, or maybe you do, I don't know. Anyway, it is Saturday the 22nd of October, 2022. Where's this year gone? Seems like it was Christmas not long ago. Anyway. Hopefully, is there, yeah, what's the audio and the other stuff like? Is there an audio out of sync? Oh God, here we go. I've just got a new capture card, so let's see what's going on. That should be okay. There's a theory. Sorry about the cat as well at the bottom. So mic aux is, let's have a look. HD 60. Configure video, camera control, use custom audio device, game capture HD, HDMI. 1, 2, actually it looks like there is on, I'm not sure if the delay is actually on there or on here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a delay actually on the capture card. That is sucky. Your audio is like a 60s kung fu movie. Oh God. Oh, why does nothing ever work properly? I'm just going to go and cry somewhere for a little while. Yeah, I don't know why that isn't working. That should be okay. One. Yeah, there's no delay. I'm trying to see if there's a delay actually. So that is real time. Pretty much on there, but the audio seems to be not. Why is that a thing? I'm very confused. Ugly Bob says if anyone else is noticing a delay, make a super chat message. Yeah, I don't know. Weird audio delay. I thought my ears were slow. I'm confused. Is it still doing it? The microphone on? Yeah, must be on because it's being pumped through there. I don't understand why there's... So the audio is delayed by about 1 second. Interesting. So I'm sure there's a way you can actually change that. Properties. Rare resolution FPS, match output FPS. NTSC. Color displays, buffering, auto detect. Now that should be okay. There's normally a bit in here where I can change the audio. So let's see. There's a couple of second delay on there. What the hell is going on? This is a brand new streaming capture card from Elgato, the bastards. Thank you, O'Reilly, for the super chat, and thank you, Bob, as well. Mike is of an audio delay from the video. Wonder where that's coming from. I don't understand how that can actually be a thing. Ugly Bob says that's better working now. The audio is working now. You're all working now. It's very close now. Okay, that's perfect now. That'll do. Right, there was a rookie error. What I did was, my camera outputs, because it's stupid and it's English, technically it's a 25 frames per second camera, but because we're outputting to YouTube, I tried to do it to 30 frames per second. But because of how cameras work, it will only let me do 29.97 frames per second, because it's from the UK, not an American one. The American one just lets you do 30 frames per second, no problem. And in OBS, I had it set to 30 frames per second rather than 29.97. So that 0.3 of a frame is what was causing the audio delay, I think. Let's see. Riley says, stupid in English camera, get it made in China. I do think it was actually made in China. Actually, it's Panasonic Lumix, so it might be Japan. Who knows? Anyway. It's not working. Well, actually, no, it's working right. Everyone okay? Everyone happy? Is it working okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me? And all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully you can. Alexa says the audio is a lot better now. Excellent stuff. Are the levels okay? I haven't even looked to check. It looks like I'm going up into the yellow a little bit there. Not quite peaking, so hopefully it's okay. Not too loud, not too quiet. Rick H says all is good. Alexa says levels are good. Levels okay. Nick Byron says all fab. I'll take that as being an affirmative then, so we'll go with that. So, many things to talk about and discuss, but are we actually interested? I've got to be honest with you, all this new next gen stuff, or current gen, I suppose it is now, Intel 13th gen, AM5, all these crazy power requirements, it's just making it very bitter tasting for me. I think a lot of us, and we're actually, Dave Aitken, who is one of our regulars, actually lives pretty local, so he dropped round today, bought a graphics card off him actually, the GeForce RTX 2070, which I've upgraded the streaming rig from the 2060 Super, which was in there. Why would I change a 2060 Super to a 2070? What was I even thinking of? Is there actually any point whatsoever? Probably not. But it was nice to have a change, and he gave me a good deal on it, so bless him. And it was nice to see Dave. So Dave, if you're watching this on the repeat, he's actually watching a film tonight. He's going to watch Smile, which I think is a horror or something. So, I don't know. Yes, Kath.
Captain Me and Rick H have received their beanies.
Oh, excellent. So some of you guys have received your beanies. Hopefully you have now. Actually, where is mine? Flame is currently using it to wipe his arse. For fuck's sake. Cat shizzle all over my hat.
Fizzle.
Oh, look, it's covered in hairs. Luckily, it's just the hairs. No poops.
Maisie's paws like sooty.
Yeah, sooty pulls down. This is a live production, Maisie. Don't just sit there and lick your bits.
Can you read Tuffley?
Tuffley. Hey Kath, can you ask this to Mike? I should easily reach above 165 frames per second, 1080p with 3070, and you should do. I would have thought so in most games, yes. Yes, Tuffy, you should. Yeah, Mike's Unboxing Hats. Most of you have had yours by now. Those that are, we've done it, we've tried to be as fair as possible. So we've done it so that people that are contributing to us on a kind of regular basis, or patrons or YouTube members that are on a certain tier, have been with us a certain amount of time, like over a year or however many months it was, ridiculous. We decided we'd just send it out as a gift. It's getting a bit colder, although ironically today, here in good old sunny Bristol in the United Kingdom, it's actually, what, 14 degrees at the moment, at just gone nearly 8:30 in the evening. So 14 degrees and cloudy, and we're due thunderstorms apparently, which are coming up from North Devon, so F you North Devon for sending us your shitty weather. In the summer you could have sent us some nice stuff, but no, you didn't. You chose not to, but now you're just sending us rain.
Summer, babe.
Yeah, we did. A couple of weeks. The rest of it was shite. Anyway, moving on. So, yes, for those of you who've got your hats, we might do... They have been actually quite popular, and some of you have been requesting them. We have been sending them out to those of you that have purchased them. Also, you're available for purchase from our Discord, directly from us, etc. So, yeah, we're taking a bit of hit on the shipping and stuff around the world, but whatever. You guys are all pretty good to us, so it's the least we can do is to keep your heads warm. And Lord knows I know what it's like to have a cold head, because I am somewhat follically challenged, as you've possibly already gathered.
The flame was helping and you moaned.
Captain Meese Adventures has just renewed his membership, and he's been a member for 13 months. And he says you get less for murder. Captain Meat, have you received? Yeah, you did see. Excellent. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. I forget because the names are different. And you lot, seriously, we love you guys. We genuinely do, and girls, obviously, and those of you that are kind of somewhere in between. We love you all, regardless. But you use different usernames. The hell's wrong with you? Can't you just be yourself? Like me, my name is Mike's Unboxing. I am going to get my name changed by default to Mike's We should do that.
Mr. and Mrs. Unboxing.
That should be our Christmas gift to each other. I'm going to get your name changed by default to Kath's Unboxing, and I'm going to be Mike's Unboxing. That would be awesome. Actually, we should buy a planet.
Oh, Maisie Unboxing and Flame Unboxing and Poppy Dora Unboxing.
I think there's somewhere you can actually buy an area of land in Scotland which makes you a lord. So you could be Lord Mike's Unboxing.
Why would you want to be a lord?
I don't know. Or just buy one of those fake doctorates and become Dr. Mike's Unboxing. Anyway. Vlad FCP says, Mike, why AM5 motherboards are so expensive? Could go to Amsterdam for a weekend for that money. I know. It's bloody ridiculous. I'm honestly, I was very much looking at thinking it would be really nice to get an AM5 system. But seeing the prices as they are at the moment and the motherboard prices, until I see a really good motherboard for about £150 on AM5, I cannot in a million years even begin to consider justifying that kind of change. It just isn't the point, is there? And looking at the benchmarks, which most of you probably have done if you're into tech, you probably have done. So if you've seen the results, realistically, AM5 against kind of high-end AM4, yes, there is an increase in performance in benchmarks and games. You can see there's an extra 15-20%. But when you're actually playing a game, these days, most games we're playing sort of 60 FPS and upwards. 10% of 60 FPS is only 66 FPS. Would you be able to physically notice those extra 6 frames? If the audio was out of sync, you might do. With my quarter of a frame that was out. Anyway, let's move on. So yes, good to be back with you all. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty. This week, well, last week I didn't do many videos at all because of this, that and the other going on. And this week I've got to the point where we've got 4 cats and we've got carpet. So you can kind of, had carpet. The carpet we put down in the house when we first moved in. So that's like 17, 18 years ago. And that carpet has lasted pretty well. And it's cheap shit. We bought cheap because, hey, it's me. But it came to a point, the cats are slightly elderly. One of them likes to...
what we think is 2 of them now.
I think 2 of them are basically using the carpet as kitty litter.
Even though they have 2 kitty
And it was getting to the point where you'd open the door to receive the mail and the poor Amazon man, his eyes would start welling up and his hair would start turning grey. And it's like, I can't inflict this on anybody any longer. It's bloody awful. So this week actually took a little bit of time out from doing videos and actually spent some time doing some stuff to the house, which I've been neglecting for the last 4 or 5 years. Since we've had this YouTube channel, unless I've actually filmed it, I've done F all to the house. Literally like nothing. We've had people in and done bits and pieces. We had the roof done, etc., but we haven't done anything. So anyway, put some laminate flooring down, which gave me a good opportunity to test out the DeWalt jigsaw, which I bought and reviewed. That thing is awesome. If you're looking at doing any stuff around the house, DIY, putting down some laminate flooring, cutting up some boards, just general carpentry stuff, or even cutting plastics and that kind of stuff, the DeWalt jigsaw is excellent. It genuinely is. It's very cheap as well. It's about £100 here in the UK, just the bare drill, I was going to say. Struggling now. The bare jigsaw itself is about £100, and if you're into the DeWalt ecosystem, it is awesome. It genuinely is. There's a really cool feature on it where it actually blows dust. So normally when you're cutting a line, anyone who's cut wood, you'll know what this is all about. So when you're cutting timber with a jigsaw, or any kind of circular saw, you're kind of doing, you mark out your line and you're trying to follow the line. It's really hard to do because normally you get sawdust and all kinds of debris in front of the blade and on the line. So you can't see where you're cutting. But this has got a cool feature, so you just pull a switch down and it blows the hot air from the motor and actually blows it out the front. So it blows all the dust and stuff away so you can clearly see the line. And doing my laminate flooring is a horrible, horrible job in the hallway, but it made it so much more bearable. If I didn't have that jigsaw and I had to do it by hand with a saw, I'd be in a mental home by now. I would seriously be struggling with my insanity levels being plus 100.
I just thinking of the living room when you took the door strip up.
Yeah.
And what did you use to cut that off?
Yeah, the last time I did it, I didn't have a jigsaw and I couldn't saw a certain place where I needed to do, so I literally cut with a drill perforations into the laminate and then used a screwdriver to kind of wrench it off. So I've improved over the years a little bit, not a great deal. Anyway, let's move on, because you guys don't want to hear about all this nonsense, do you? Sorry, let's take a drink.
Right, Maisie, you're being annoying now.
Lovely, lovely. SC says, I'm not convinced that Intel Arc is a bad product. I'm not convinced either yet. I would like to try one at some point. I was going to get one, but I'm going to throw eBuyer under the bus here. I think it's eBuyer, I'm pretty sure it was. So eBuyer was about the only place in the UK which was actually selling the Intel graphics cards when they came out. A750 and A770. Sorry, brain's gone. And they were at their kind of MSRP prices. But within about 2 to 3 minutes of the A770 being launched, it went from £389 to £400. So they actually put the price up whilst it was selling. Now that stinks. It's only £10. Now don't get me wrong, £10 is £10. It's not the end of the world. And when you're spending £400 against £390, yeah, it's a very small percentage, what's that, 2.5% or something. So it's not a great deal, but it's still kind of, it stings a little bit. It's something that I think Scan did as well, back when the 30 series came out from NVIDIA, where they had a sale price. As soon as it kicked off at kind of 2 PM, whatever it was, they saw how quickly it was selling and they thought, right, we'll just put the price up. That sucks. That's not good. That isn't a business customer relationship that I want to be involved with. So I was going to get one of those cards to review, but I've, well, held off. And eBuyer, I think at the moment, unless they've got some particularly special deals on, will be getting considerably less of my my money coming through their doors, because I don't agree with that kind of behaviour. I think that sucks. If they'd have done it whilst it was still on pre-sale, they made an adjustment, or we've priced it wrong, or we've misjudged the exchange rate, fine. But for it to be a live sale, something that they know people are going to be interested in, you can see there was like, it says like there's 177 people watching this right now, sort of thing. So you knew it was popular. And yeah, they just switched the price at the last minute, which I think sucks. Okay, anyway, moving on. So anyway, what was I going to say? Mr. Handtech, hi Mike, have a good stream, busy tonight, good luck with the build. Awesome, I'm going to need it, I think. Because it's been a long time, and hopefully you have a good night as well. Stuart says, I use a DeWalt jigsaw every day in work, but didn't know you can get one that blows sawdust away from the cutting line. Yeah, it's bloody awesome. It's their bottom of the range one as well. It's like the entry level model, but it's got pretty much every feature you could possibly want, I think. Wow, I'm not going to get involved in the Northern American tiff which is going on in the chat. So, in order to counteract all the bullshit in the YouTube media recently, and obviously as well, the expenses of the new stuff is ridiculous. So I'm actually going to put together a system which I've had a couple of people asking me recently, people who've actually bought systems from me previously, have said, Mike, do you have any computers for sale? We are after a computer. So I've got loads of stuff here which needs really to be moved on, and most of it you've probably seen a million times before, and it'd be quite nice to move it on, and possibly if I can get enough money back to justify getting a new 13th gen or AM5 system in a couple of weeks or so when things settle down, maybe when the Black Friday comes around, if there's some deals on, I might stretch my legs and stretch the budget a little bit and get some of that stuff. Mostly for the reason of being just morbidly curious, and also it's good for the channel because if we get some AM5 motherboards or 13th gen motherboards, we can go through, do BIOS updates and that kind of stuff, and try and hopefully help others that may be going through the same teething issues that we might be going through. But who knows? So anyway, Roughly about a £600 system is what I'll be putting together today. Most of the stuff you guys have already seen a million times before, but something which I've generally not put into systems before is this graphics card, which is, this has been a favourite of mine for a very long time. This is the Radeon 5700XT. This was, in its time when it came out, an absolute smashing card. And to be honest with you, it still holds well even today. And still actually fetches pretty decent money. If you look up one of these in the used market here, somewhere like CEX, you're probably going to be looking about 250, maybe a little bit more. In the particular system that I'm kind of putting together, I'm valuing this around about the sort of £200 mark. So I feel this, yeah, this is a really good card. And I think there's probably going to be a lot of you that are in the chat right now or watching this in the replay. They've probably got a 5700XT and they're still rocking it and still enjoying it. It works well 1080p. At a stretch for most games, 1440p at kind of medium settings, medium high, still does kick some butt. PCI Express Gen 4, 8 gigs of RAM, just, yeah, a really nice card, and they overclock like crazy. You can really modify them, or if you want to go the other way, you can actually undervolt them and get a lot of performance out of them. So for me, the 5700XT has always been a really kind of had a real nice place in my heart because it does what you want it to. It's not overly expensive when it came out. It's kind of held its value pretty well, I personally think. But anyway, so 5700XT is what is going in there. We like that a lot. Processor-wise, Ryzen 5 3600. Reason being, because I've got 3 of these at the moment, I think. Yeah, there's one in the little PC in the front room. There's one in the streaming PC. And this was the third one. You can pick those up for about £100, I think. 6 cores, 12 threads, reasonably overclockable as well, £100 or so. It's hard to go wrong for £100, 6 cores, 12 threads, it really is. Like, what else can you get? There's other stuff you can get kind of maybe new, but it's still going to be like 150, 160, maybe heading towards 200. So yeah, for me, these have still got a nice bit of longevity in front of them.
Take the message off the screen, please.
Oh, sorry, message off the screen. My mistake.
Sorry, no one named it. It's getting in the way a bit.
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? Alessa says my 5700XT is currently on a parts box. They're great cards. Dutch Jan says my Red Devil RX 5700XT still rocks. If it wasn't for the fact that I did or do streaming and video editing, I think I'd probably keep the card. It was a toss-up between the 2060 Super or the 5700XT. But because of, well, actually now into the mix is the 2070 as well. All of which are all jostling around trading places in terms of performance. I think the 2070 is probably going to take the edge very slightly over the 5700XT. But what can I say? It has NVENC encoder, which is really good and helps me a lot actually, especially in things like streams. I noticed straight away actually just doing screen recordings, 4K screen recordings on my little monitor there with the NVIDIA card, much smoother, virtually 0 drop frames. I guess OBS is kind of to blame for that because they're the ones who are programming it, but the 5700XT did struggle with 4K capture on that system, so yes, that is another reason why it kind of had to go. Right, rest of the stuff. So we got the Uphere 6-pack of fans. Yes, going for 6 fans. This is going to be an RGB-a-thon. We've got the V-Color DDR4 3600. This is the SCC kit, so it's 2+2, 2 dummies, 2 DRAMs. This is going to be a lot of RGB. Storage-wise, Western Digital SN570, 1TB, excellent drive, can't fault it. Onboard 1 gig of cache. If you're buying an NVMe drive these days, if it's going to be your main drive, I would say try and get one that's got some cache in it. The HBM modules are getting better, but I don't think they can really quite compete with the drive which actually has dedicated cache. Motherboard wise, going with the ASUS, the Prime B550 Plus. No real reason why I've done this, really, other than the fact that, well, the story was, somebody wanted to buy the PC that we did last time, the £500 build PC, and that was then going to go out, but they said, oh, can we upgrade the graphics card? So they said, well, I suggested the 5700XT. Add on an extra £100, I'll throw that in, take out the 1650, job done. I put it into the little case, the little Gamemax Commando, and I did think that because it is a triple fan model, which I'll show you. So it is a triple fan model and it is pretty big. It's quite a beast. So if you imagine, in a Micro ATX, it's kind of like that. So you're not really getting a huge amount of airflow actually up underneath it. So with being in an ATX, you're going to be kind of like that. So there's going to be a little bit more fresh air getting underneath it, which obviously is going to be helpful for keeping this cool. Although it actually does a really good job of keeping itself cool anyway, because of the massive heatsink and all those fans. But I just feel that if I'm selling a PC, I don't want to be thinking in the back of my mind, is it going to be getting overheated? Is it going to be causing the person problems? Is it going to then give kind of a bad or a negative feeling towards me as someone who's selling a PC? So rather than do all that, I thought, right, sod it, let's just change it out. We'll do actually just a completely different build, and I'll swap out the bits from the other one, and this will be fantastic. It'll run, it'll run super cool, loads of fans, it'll look amazing, and it means I can clear a bit of room, and I got hopefully going to be somewhere around £600 towards doing my AM5 build. I don't know what Kath was looking at. I was looking at Poppy.
She's probably like lead out, head back.
I'll see if I can get her on the screen. Actually, no, I can't.
She'll move, won't she?
Anyway, so that is what we're doing. Oh, she's woken up a bit now. So yeah, that is exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, etc. Motherboard wise, let's run through the prices actually quickly, just so I can make a note of it in my head. If anybody wants to add this up, please do, because my brain won't cope with that sort of thing. So Western Digital Drive, I'm sure that was 70, but you can possibly pick them up cheaper, so we'll say 70 for that. The RAM, I don't really know, but let's say 80. Processor 100. Power supply is going to be about 55. Cooler is going to be about another 55. Case 35. The Uphere fans, I think that was about 35 as well. And then the graphics card, arguably, used prices is about 200 to 250, so let's go low ball, let's say 200. What does that give us?
630.
630. So I said it's going to be about £600. It's close enough. If I take out the fans, then yeah, it's 600 quid. So that suits me fine. The case, what mind, is the Gamemax mind. The case is the Gamemax Trooper, which you've seen before, 35 quid. Did I say that? I did, didn't I? Was that in your list of things? Have a look in the list on there. Does it say 35 in there somewhere?
Oh, I don't know how to get the list up. It used to just be along the top.
Oh yeah, they're not showing that now.
No.
The bastards.
Oh, there we go.
Did I say 35?
You said 35, 200, 35, 35, 55.
235s, that'll do. That's, I'm happy with that.
180.
Oh dear, I can't believe 3/4 of an hour in and I've not even started. Man.
3/4 of an hour. I've just.
I know, actually half an hour, because I started at 8:15. So let's get this done. So some of you have probably seen this before. This is the Prime B550 Plus. I like this motherboard, I really do. I don't like ASUS software, I think that sucks. But we can stick Signal RGB on there and it'll all be good, in theory. In fact, actually, Signal RGB probably would be the way to go with this. You could use the Armoury Crate, but...
What do you use for the scrolling bottom ribbon?
the scrolling button ribbon on the bottom is actually just programmed in. So that is a... I think it's a horizontal text bar, I think. What is it? Live banner 3. No. Live chat overlay. No, live chat. Yeah, that is just a live banner. So it's just basically, I've done a super long black bar with the text on in Photoshop, and basically the scrolling effect is it kind of just looping around.
And Bob says it's me with a long piece of paper and I push it along the screen.
Yeah. It's like one of those old 1960s or 1970s credits, and there's some poor sod who's actually down there, actually just rolling it around. It's actually Bob. Horizontal Bob. That's the way he likes to be. Right, let's stick the processor in. This one says number 2. Now there's a long story attached to this, but I've had 3 of these processors, and I kind of benchmarked them against each other to see if there was going to be any difference and how much the kind of silicon lottery comes into play. And actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Out of the 2, well, there's 2 good ones and 1 which was less good. The less good one was number 3, which is currently in my streaming PC. So God only knows what I'm going to end up doing with that. We'll see. But yeah, I really should make a video on that actually, because it is kind of interesting. If you're a bit sad like me.
An insomniac.
Yeah, if you can't sleep, it's quite a good one. Fun fact. Bob says there, fun fact, Kath also did the opening text on Star Wars. Do you know what? I actually was thinking today, as an intro to the stream, I could actually do a Star Wars-esque kind of scrolling thing at the bottom of the screen, saying like the story so far about Mike's unboxing and why we haven't been on last week and all that kind of stuff. But I thought long and hard about it and eventually basically just gave up. Because it's, with always, when you do YouTube stuff, it is basically a 24-hour-a-day thing. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, there's something going on, and you're always kind of planning around what is coming up. You're also trying to remedy things which have gone on, and also answer questions and kind of try to be as helpful as possible to people, even on videos which are, well, I answer questions, and Kath does as well, on videos which are from basically the very first video we've done right the way up to the very latest video we've done. So you can imagine, over a period of 4 years or so, nearly 5 years, and getting on for nearly 2,000 videos, you get quite a few questions. Granted, we don't answer every single one. There's bound to be 1 or 2 that get missing, or they're on the end of a thread or something. So we don't always get some, but... Oh. Maisie! What are you doing? Stop it. Keep still. Lunatic. Anyway, yeah, so it's being on YouTube, if you're actually going to be someone who actually does want to integrate or communicate with your community, it's hard work. It's a very, very hard thing to do. And I've got to be honest with you, I get really pissed off when I see other YouTubers, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I think pretty much most of them are in the same boat, where they actually don't bother responding. Like, you can open up pretty much any video on YouTube recently. How many videos have got a reply on every comment? I don't think you'll find many, if any. Ours you will. Because we do actually value what you lot are saying. We're not just doing it to make money. That is a nice artifact, let's say. William Bodie says, did you find out how to use the demagnetizer or magnetizer? I did, sort of. It is here. And the theory is to magnetize a screw. This is sent from William. William sent this with a load of other stuff as well. This is very cool. So the theory is you've got an option to magnetize or demagnetize a screwdriver. But I'm not 100% sure if you've got a screwdriver which is magnetic anyway, whether it makes any difference at all. Or whether it can actually make a whether it can make a magnetic screwdriver which has lost its magnetism remagnetized or not. I don't think it can. Let's try it. Actually, no. Someone tell me, find out exactly how one of those things works so I don't look like a complete imbecile. That would be very helpful. Let's give you the overhead shot so you can see me sticking this RAM in. Ram it in, he said.
Come on.
So, got the silicon power Sorry, not silicon power. That's a Freudian slip. The V-color RAM. And we'll stick these in here. Oh, Maisie and Flame and everybody, just shut up. I'm going to have to watch this on the camera. I can't see what I'm doing.
Flame, don't bite your mum. No. You're standing on its tail, mate. That's what it is. It don't bite. It's a bigger lap.
Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm actually getting a sore throat. There we go. RAM sticks in and no... Well, actually, there is a little bit of a offset on that one, isn't there? There you go. I won't tell anyone if you don't. I might have to have another cup of tea, I think, Kath.
I got too much on my plate.
Galaxy Craft MC. Hey chat, I made my first PC for 250 quid. It has a Intel i5 8500 and a 1050. Is that okay? Yeah, that's cool. Ugly Bob says there's a gap in there. It's like the gap in Madonna's two front teeth. Yeah, you could kick a field goal through those. For those of you that know about rugby or American soccer. It's not American soccer, I know. I'm just being facetious. It's funny how they call it American football, yet they actually use their hands. But soccer, they use their feet. Never understood that. There's that, yeah. James Brock, no, she also has one between her ears.
Who's that?
Madonna. She has a big gap where her brain used to be. Right, so that is the motherboard prep. So we've got our processor, we've got our NVMe drive. We can do Morse code. Let's tighten that down a bit. That's better. So IO shield, put that to one side for now. I think that's it. That's all we can do on the motherboard, I think. In terms of the hook on for the AIO, I think we're going to use the standard brackets on there, so that should be fine. Yeah, that's good. So we can put this to one side and we can concentrate now on the actual case itself and getting all the fans in. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Let's go back to the main camera. There we go. YouTube Studio. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Yeah, I bet it would. Now that you've put your bloody prices up for everybody, you bastards. No offence, we love you, YouTube.
Someone called Welshify Campbell. Hello Mike and chat, I'm in the middle of my build but not sure how to set up the ARGB that have a 4-pin. I have the ASUS strict E450.
Right, if you've got, talking to, this is for, what's the
Welshify Campbell.
Welshify Campbell, I can't see the rest of your name, but anyway, you can see what it is. Yes, if you've got a 4-pin ARGB, you haven't. You've got 4-pin RGB, which isn't compatible. So don't try and plug it in just because there's a pin missing. It basically will not work. So don't try and do it. You will possibly blow up things. And blowing up things is a bad idea. We actually had somebody on our Discord this week which they used the old cables from a power supply, a modular one, and put it in with a different power supply. And then wondered why their PC would not boot. The good reason is because most of the components were burnt out, which is bad. And I'm about to get electric shock. Instant karma. Right, Maisie, come and set this box. Oh, I should have put my OBSBot camera on. It could have followed me around while I destroy myself. Ugh. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. or for those of you that want Kath to take over for me for a little bit on screen, let us know in the chat. Kath is going to be actively banning you if you do it.
Yeah. How have I missed all these people?
Kath's missed a lot of people. She's saying hello to you. Right, so Gamemax Trooper. An absolute beast of a case. And currently extremely cheap. And I just realised actually it's got 3 bloody fans built in already. So I don't actually need to put the other fans in, do I? That is awesome.
That saves you 30 quid.
That saves that 35 quid, so we were just underneath the £600 target. I'm going to message the person who wanted the PC, because they said actually that £600 was their budget. And if the PC was going to be £600, they wouldn't have any money for peripherals. Now me, I love peripherals, especially chocolate ones with a little bit of hot chocolate sauce over the top. That is a tasty burger. What the fuck am I doing here? Excuse the language. So that is good. I've forgotten how cool this case actually was. Let's take the side panel off as well. So Gamemax Trooper.
Can you see Poppy in the reflective porn?
Yeah, where's Poppy? Can you see Poppy?
Try no mover. She's not in it. Look at me.
There, I've moved it around a little bit. It's got her yet?
Yeah, she's facing the wrong way now, isn't she?
Poppy!
Pops.
No, simply not interested.
Almost there, she's woken up now.
Oh god damn it. That is a heavy glass panel, which I'm guaranteed to drop at some point.
Careful, baby.
Right, I'm going to move that.
Got too many cats on my lap to see to you.
Right, let's put that there. This is going to be a very, very nice build. I can see it. I can taste it already.
Did they let you keep that MSI GK71 UK keyboard?
Did they? Feck. No. No. MSI are... me and MSI, we're not vibing at the moment. There's something... I don't know. I think they might be... well, they might be saving up all my gifts to send me a graphics card. But I think I've actually got more chance of growing female genitals than I have of getting a graphics card out of MSI anytime soon. So no, they didn't. And actually, I should say as well, William Bodie, the lovely man that he is, did actually send a keyboard over for us, which was extremely kind. Which was the Huntsman Razer Mini, which is currently up there. Sorry, the Razer Huntsman Mini even. Which is currently on the shelf. I have done the review on it. And I've also bought some additional PBT keycaps for it as well. Because it's actually in the German layout, which isn't a great deal different. But for those of you that are used to Alt Control Delete, they have Alt Sturg Del. I think it's Sturg. Sturg is Control, I think.
Wild Bill, can you read it?
I can't even see it.
It says I had a WD-SN 550 and I was doing a clone to my HDD with Macrium and it bricked the WD to raw. I tried everything, I can't get it back. Luckily, I had already copied the SN550 to another drive beforehand.
I'm just reading that now, well, Bill, that sounds awful. To be honest with you, Western Digital drives I've had very few problems with. The ones I've had more problems with is Seagate. I've actually got a Seagate drive up there on the shelf, which is currently in the process of, well, being basically kind of dead. Yeah, I don't know, Seagate for me has been not brilliant. Oh, this is going to be... see, this is why this is cheap. Because the IO shield don't want to go in. But I think it's mostly the user error. It's bang spin it.
Why doesn't the beanie have ARGB? You should have one with built-in torch.
Yeah, I should actually. Because that's bloody expensive. There we go. Now that is an IO shield that is in particularly well. I'm going to stick the motherboard in straight away. I'm kind of excited to do that. I don't think there's anything else I need to do. This case has got so much room to work in that you don't have to really worry about making room for other stuff. Like when you're trying to put your power supply in, stuff like that. So let's put that down. So this actually comes with 3 fans, addressable RGB fans, and also a fan hub. And this massive case for £35 at the moment. That is just incredible value for money. Clearly, when it first came out, it was nowhere near that price.
Change camera.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. There we go. Let's give you the overhead so you can somewhat see what is going on here. Let's line that up. Ooh, that doesn't want to go in. Let's get the other light on as well. I need another light on this side. I keep on saying that. I'll do it one day. Yeah. Actually, yeah, the price of electricity at the moment, I'll end up doing this by bloody candlelight soon.
You could have a candle on the front of your beanie, keep it under the flap. Your candle holder.
I don't think that would work.
I reckon it would. Let's try.
I think I'd set fire to stuff. There's going to be a lot of room in here. So I have got a 240mm AIO to go in here. You can put a 360 in the top, but Gamemax have not sent me one. I don't think they actually do one yet. But we'll see. Captain White's with us. How you doing, buddy? Says evening, just popping in for a few minutes. That's all it takes. Just come in, say some stuff, and it all helps the algorithm. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm actually genuinely excited about this PC. There's been some PC builds I've done recently where it's just like, oh, I'm just doing it, I'm just going through the motions. But this actually genuinely is like pretty cool because it's all of the cool parts that made AMD's kind of return to their position now, like their really cool position. This is the sort of stuff that made them cool again. Ryzen 5 3600, great processor. B550 chipset motherboard, absolutely brilliant, value for money, or at least not initially, but when they have been on the market for a little while, cool AF. 5700XT, just all-round awesome graphics card. This has got it all going on, it really has. And for £600, this is going to make an extremely enjoyable PC to use for both gaming, content creation, basically a bit of everything. It's just, it'll do anything you want it to.
Cat home.
It won't be a cat home. No matter how much Kath wants it to be, it's not going to happen. We've got more chance of being a fish home. I might end up taking the fans out. It's something which I may consider. Those fans are okay. We'll see how this goes, because time and all that. But I might actually, once this is done, I might take out the fans and the fan controller
Ugly Bob thought the same.
and put them into something else.
You could put Poppy in there.
No, Bob.
Put her in where those fans go, because she's in the right kind of box for that now.
Captain White says, saw the Trooper was back down to 35 quid at CCL last week. Yeah, it's for 35 quid, come on. This is an insane amount of hardware for the money. It really is. I can't see how anyone could really say that this is not awesome for what it is. Anyway, go back to the main camera for a bit. So, who's looking forward to Christmas? Sorry, I had to use the C word. I think I've mostly cable managed this already. Well, Siri clearly doesn't have an opinion either way.
But he's listening in.
But he's listening, you bastard. Well, we've got some cabling to manage here, so what should we do first? I think let's go with the HD audio. Notice how Bristolians say HD. It's because we're well, bit simple. Marco Tanasonic, sorry, Marco Tanasophic. I always get that wrong. Marco T. That'll do. €5. The stream is on. Woo! Thank you for your super chat, buddy. SC says many of the cases Mike recommends are superb. Mine was like 35 quid and I love it. Got it after his excellent review. Thanks very much, SC, that's very kind of you. To be honest with you, the case reviews are something I really like doing, because there's nothing better than having a really nice case to work in. Now there's some cases which I get and I'm really kind of like, oh god, do I have to? This is not really that good. And then I use it and it's like, oh actually, no, it's better than I expected. So for you people out there watching it, you probably thinking the same as I did. With certain cases, you're thinking, well that looks shit, that's never going to work, or that's going to be poor airflow, or whatever, it's just going to be difficult to work in. But then you actually see me doing it, going through the motions, and I'm doing it all live, so if there is anything which kind of scuppers things, or I feel is being problematic, obviously you're going to know about it. So you can work out then if it's a problem that you can work around, or whether or not it's one of those kind of deal-breaking situations for you. So that's pretty cool. And technically we don't charge for the service. YouTube do, we don't. But YouTube asshole. Just to keep the momentum going there. So I'm going to put the USB 3.0 port in. I'm not sure if you can actually see me doing that. That is something which I would like to see on boards. Maybe them be put into like a place where it's a little bit easier to manage. Like, that is all a little bit ugly.
Andy Archer asks, any suggestions on what to use for an RGB header on a micro ATX board with no RGB header?
If you've got a board which hasn't got RGB or addressable RGB, well, there's many things you can do. Actually, if you look in the video description, check out the Uphere fan set, the 6-pack, because that comes with 6 fans and also comes with a addressable RGB hub controller, fan controller, all sorts. And you can control it by pressing the reset button on your case, so you can wire it to that. It actually comes with a separate switch as well, so if you want to be a little bit creative, you can always stick it kind of in the back of your PC, drill a little hole and stick it on the back or something, or just hide it out of sight so you can cycle through your colours. Actually, for me, it is really good and actually works quite well. So that might be worth taking a look at. If not, there's certain things you can do. So if you don't have addressable RGB on your board or no way of controlling it, if you buy the Corsair kit, which comes with either the Node or the Commander, all those sorts of things, you can control that via USB. So you can run that just through the Corsair's IQ software, or something like Signal RGB, which does support Corsair products. So then you can control it in software in Windows, but without having to have a physical header. Again, something else which I've kind of found out the hard way in some instances. Right, hard drive LED. These need to be unified as well, header pins, because they all pretty much work in the same way. They should just make a straightforward block connector. I'm almost tempted to design one and build one and just have some sort of logo on it and sell it. That'll be my Lugal binder. For those of you who don't know what a Lugal binder is, that is the little bit of plastic which seals the end of shoelaces. And the man who designed that, I'm guessing, is a multi-billionaire. Because everyone has a Lugal binder, right? Right, I think that is front panel, HD audio, USB 3.0, we don't have USB 2.0, so that is pretty much it. Now we've got a SATA cable here for the addressable RGB, and we've also got the, actually let me spin it around so you can see. So we've got the fan hub there, LED controller, so coming off of that we've got a SATA for power. So that's cool, we can figure that out in a little bit. But we've also got the addressable RGB pins, and we've also got a PWM output. So we're going to spin the board back round, or spin the case back round, and I'm going to try and get those connected up down the bottom here, or maybe, I don't know, take them up to the top. We'll see which is easier. So where it actually is the addressable RGB header, I think it's at the bottom. Right, it's right down the bottom here, so I'm gonna take it in the bottom. Hopefully Bob hasn't just spat out his monkey's finger now. And there's a fan header down the bottom as well, so that is going to keep all of those things together. Awesome stuff. So that is pretty much everything done down there. We can tidy this up at a later date, so I think it's probably a good idea now to get the power supply in. Now the power supply, we're going with even more RGB, and also it's going to be the Gamemax one, because I'm still not entirely sure what I would use this in myself. So I'm going to give somebody else the option of actually using it how they want to. I have said this before, I haven't actually reviewed this particular power supply. We did the 550 watt, but not the 750 watt gold. Now, there is a good reason for that, and that's because the unit they sent me was their kind of V1 or version 1 software or setup. So this one actually doesn't have the components in it that it's meant to, or at least the new models have got. So the new models come with, oh, what was the brand? There's a brand of capacitor which are better than the ones that are currently in here. So the ones that are in here I think are Changx or Changx, which there is actually a subtle difference between the two, but it is one of those. But the newer ones are supposed to come with, oh God, what's the ones that are used by a lot of good power supplies, like top end ones? I can't think what it's called now. Someone's going to say it in the comments, I'll see if I can see it in there. Nope, I can't see it. Matthew Dace is demonetized. Rubicon, thank you very much. I think it is Rubicon. So the Rubicon, or what was the other one? Maybe it is Rubicon. Yeah, they're basically 105 degree centigrade Japanese capacitors, rather than being the Changx ones, which I think are rated slightly lower. But anyway, you know where I'm coming from. So nice thing about modular power supplies, obviously, is you can just wire the motherboard from the front and do everything that you need to in here and pass the cables through. So that actually helps cable management and also stops some of the actual stress on the cables. So you spin that round, pass it through there, and then realise that I've actually twisted it anyway, so I'm actually putting more stress on the cable. Oh dear, what a rookie. Right. There we go, pass that through. So that is actually going to cover up some of that USB 3.0 nonsense going on down there. So that's awesome. Might as well put in the top power connector as well, our CPU connector. Again, this is so much easier with a modular power supply. So you can just pass it through the top after you're done. This one is actually quite easy to get to be fair. Although that has come apart, I think. Has that come apart? I can't tell. Yes, there we go. So I'm going to pop that in there. And there's a super chat coming in from some kind person. Who's that? Lucky man, £5. Thank you very much, sir. Snapped a pin on 3.0 front USB header. Can it be bypassed or fixed except another motherboard purchase? You can actually just get another USB PCI Express add-in card. Sometimes that's the easiest way of doing it, or if you're a little bit careful, you probably can actually solder in a new pin. It's not easy to do, so you do have to have pretty shit hot soldering skills, but it can be done. You can solder a pin in. So you basically, it's the same as desoldering and resoldering. So you desolder it, pull out the broken pin or what's left of the broken pin, and then you can solder in a new one. Just, you kind of have to find another pin, but if you've got any electronics knocking around, you can probably find the pin which would be suitable for it. Personally, I think I'd be tempted to just get another USB card. We did a review on one actually not long ago, the USB 3.0 header. That's probably going to be the best way of doing it. And it actually depends what pin it is, because some of the pins aren't necessarily in use. Some of the pins are just a ground-in pin, which you might kind of be able to get away with either fudging it. Actually, would you? Yeah, because the bottom 5, 2 of the pins are actually, there's 2 ground pins, rather than being just one ground pin that you've got on the top 4. If you look at a USB, no actually, that's the USB 2, isn't it? USB 3, I'm not sure. You might need to check with a wiring diagram there to see what pin is actually broken and whether or not it is actually necessary. Might not be. You might be in luck. Right, that is all we need. We need a SATA cable, definitely, for our little hub. Don't need any other SATA cables though, so that's very nice. Oh, clearly we're going to need some PCI Express ones for the actual graphics card. Does this come with two?
Did you answer
yes, it does.
Dutch Jan's question?
I don't think I even seen it, sorry.
MSI B550A Pro, 1 long, 2 short beeps, VGA problem, VGA BIOS changed to silent, no more problem, can I restore normal BIOS?
I'm not sure. Not sure about that question, Dutch Jan, I'm afraid, sorry. That is something I would have to actually sit down and have a think about. So,
Google.
yeah, I might have to Google, yeah. No, it's one of those things, those... Yeah, I'd need to ask you more questions about that, which I don't think I can do at the moment. I'm struggling to keep my mind and body together at the same point at the moment anyway. So, yeah, I'll try and get hold of you on the Discord or something about that. I'm not entirely sure. If anyone else on the Discord or actually in the comments at the moment wants to answer that for Dutch Jan, you're more than welcome to step in and answer. This is a community, so that is what we're there for, to help each other. So it doesn't have to necessarily be me giving you the information. If anyone else can help out, then please, please do.
Skystalker's here.
Skystalker's in the house. How you doing, Skystalker? And hello, Tina, if you're watching or listening or just within earshot. So there is our power supply done. Let's slide that in there. I bet that's going to be tight. Tight like a tiger. No, that was considerably easier than I was expecting. I was genuinely expecting to have to do some manoeuvring there. Worked out well. And actually, talking of works out well, I think that what's the actual picture like on the stream? Is it any better or any worse than usual? Because we've got our new capture card now, our new Elgato capture card, which can actually do up to 4K, 4K 30, 1440p 120, I think, and also 1080p at 120, I think. I need to check that actually because I've got to do a review on it. Costs a bit of money, but it is great because if I just turn the camera off now, rather than Elgato or the stream just saying like black screen, it actually comes up and says Elgato, no signal. So you know that the PC can actually see the capture card, which is something which has been sorely lacking from pretty much all of their products recently. Because when you're trying to configure a stream or a setup, if you've got no picture on the screen, you're like, well, what is it? Is it the USB connection? Is it the capture card? Is it the drivers? Is it the camera? Is it the USB cable? Is it the HDMI cable? Have I got the lens cap left on? All these questions and more get asked on a regular basis. Yes, so hopefully that is going to simplify things somewhat. It may not, but that is what we are hopeful of.
Warren's loving the black and white screen. When do we get colour?
It's only black and white unless you pay your license fee, in which case then you get colour. And you get both frames per second. Right, I'm going to stuff that in there because cable management is something which I do at a later date when I can be arsed. And doing cable management on a stream is always a hard thing to do because it takes ages to do. So we're looking pretty good now. I don't really want to put the graphics card in quite yet because we've got no cooling, which is actually something else we might need a SATA connection for, which I don't think we do. But let's have a look. So we're going to use the Gamemax again cooler. Actually going to be using their Ice Chill 240. I was kind of wanting to put this on the side, but I'm thinking the top is going to be more beneficial. As pretty as it looks, I think it is going to be better off on the top. So that is what we are going to do. So do I need any of that in there? Do you know what? It's been so long since I've actually used one of these, I can't remember how any of it works. Definitely going to need 8 of those to put the actual radiator in the top of the case. If there's still going to be 8 of those actually in here, I'll be amazed because I normally Actually, to be fair, when I'm putting stuff away, I am pretty good about it. Almost to the point of kind of overkill.
Luckily Bob said it's going to be better, but there wouldn't be much difference in cooling if you put it on the side.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I like it on the side or not. It's kind of, it looks different with it on the side, but I don't know whether it warrants the hassle. Now I've got to try and remember now which way round this goes. This always catches me out. So I'm going to definitely want Gamemax to be on the outside of here.
The box and it's the opposite.
It is the opposite of the box, isn't it? Yeah, well done.
Stuart Cleary, why is it more beneficial on top? It's sucking in hot air.
It is, but it's also exhausting it in a more natural way, because heat is rising regardless of what you do. And if it's on the side, because you've got your, it's a swings and roundabouts thing. If you've got a more heat generating graphics card, you want to try and get as much cool air from the front into the graphics card as possible. So if I put the AIO there, depending on which way I put it round, is going to affect the GPU performance. So if I put it with the fans being fans out, which I have to on this particular design because of how the fans are, so all this is going to be doing is sitting here, and it's going to be getting the cool air which is coming in from the front and basically shooting it straight out the back of the case, leaving all of this kind of stale air in here. Whereas if I put it in the top, I've then got the cool air coming in the front. It's going to be heated up by the graphics card. It's not going to affect the CPU as such because it's a pump, so it's not going to be until the actual fluid changes temperature, and there's not going to be enough of a kind of increase in temperature in the case going through the fans, through the fin stack into like touching the water or combining with the water to actually have that negative effect. You might see at the most after a really long gaming session maybe 2-3 degrees extra on your CPU, but being in general gaming terms, because your GPU is doing most of the legwork and your CPU is just plodding along, your CPU is not going to be under that much duress anyway, so you're not really concerned about keeping the CPU temps cool. You're more concerned about keeping your GPU temps cool to get all the frames out of it. Now, it's not an exact science, and it kind of works in various ways depending on how you work it, what speed your fans are, other factors such as ambient temperatures, the actual force of the air pressure inside from the fans. There's so many things which are kind of working against it and for it. Another thing as well, because we've got an exhaust on the back and we've got these effectively working as an exhaust on the top, that is going to aid the fans on the front to pull in cool air from elsewhere. And also, because we've got ventilated PCI Express brackets on the back, which are relatively open, if we've got a little bit of negative pressure, which I'm hoping we are going to have, because we've got those slits on the back, it's going to be pulling cooler air from the outside, hopefully, in underneath this graphics card towards the front, where normally air struggles to get into. So if you've ever owned like an NZXT case, such as the S310 was it, or 360 or whatever it was, NZXT cases generally work really well with negative pressure because of that same layout. So they have the blocked off front, but because they've got fans at the top and an exhaust, they try to pull in air from underneath. Gamers Nexus done a really good little segment on it ages ago, which it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it, but it swings and roundabouts. Personally, I don't like radiators on that side panel, for another reason being that ideally you want the pipes to be at the bottom. So if you put it in like that, then you've got to do some kind of weird hump thing over the graphics card to actually get the head in place as well. Whereas obviously with it being at the top, if there's going to be any air in the system, it's going to be in the top of the radiator and it's not going to affect the pump too much. I thought my pump was leaking then, it's Kath, she's soaking her feet. She had a hard day. Anyway, hopefully that made some sense. There's a super chat from Stuart Cleary, €20. Says, thanks Mike, great advice as usual. I don't know about as usual, but thank you very much, Stuart. Appreciate that. I'm going to get this very wrong, aren't I? Because it is the opposite of what it is on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
But you can't really tell.
I don't care. I'm just going to do it how I think it looks nice. Because ultimately that's going to be what sells a PC. Does it look nice? Yes. Does it perform very well? No. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Actually, I know which way it goes because I've got the connections on the back there. So clearly I've had this conversation internally with myself already. Ah, dear. Happy days. So if anyone does disagrees with the what I was saying there about the water cooling and the airflow patterns and that, please feel free to tell us in the chat your experiences or your opinions even. We're all, I would assume, relatively intelligent people that are watching this stream. And if you've kind of been to school or you've had life experience with heating either your home or your car or your computer or whatever, feel free to let us know your thoughts.
Mr. E, is there any situation where you would prefer an air cooler over a water cooler?
To be honest with you, I would, from my own personal use, generally I would prefer an air cooler. Especially if it's one that performs relatively well. For the majority of people, you don't really need water cooling. It's somewhat of a luxury, I would consider. And if anything, it just adds another layer of complexity and something else to go wrong. And a lot of air coolers will actually do a pretty decent job anyway. But it does seem that with the latest and greatest processors, that water cooling is going to become more and more of a thing. I still can't get over the fact that the modern parts are supposedly okay running at 100 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Celsius. That just seems absolutely bizarre. I do struggle to actually comprehend the logic in that. I actually struggle to comprehend the logic of them using so much power. I don't think it's necessary. I really don't. Right, let's try and get these cables through. Actually, let's just mount the rad.
Mark Coyne likes to put his fans on a cool config for AIO.
Cool. I think it's one of those things that is like, everyone's got their own ways of doing things. I wouldn't say there's a right way and I wouldn't say there's necessarily a wrong way. And experimentation is what it comes down to. Just try a few things. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, try something else. Where's that not lining up? Oh, I know why that is. I've got to turn these fans around. I don't want to do that.
Matthew Smith, this should be a cracking build. Nearly went for a 5700XT. Bloody thing cooked itself, got a bit shafted by CCL. I've not touched AMD on the GPU front since, unfortunately.
I'm quite a fanboy of AMD in general, really. Or at least I was for the previous generation. The current one leaves me feeling a little bit kind of, I wouldn't say miffed, but I think they could have done things better. Yeah, those pipes are right in the way of that bloody fan. So that has to be turned round. Oh, dear Lord. There's always something.
Right, do you know?
Do I know?
I think James Rock's asking, is William Bodie in the chat? He is, because he doesn't see anything he's posting. But I think William might have accidentally blocked him. How to unblock?
How do you unblock? I don't know, if you can't see them, I suppose you'd have to go into your YouTube settings go into YouTube, go into the, I'm trying to think where it is now, there's where you've got your little logo or your profile picture.
William, 'cause you might not know.
William, go into your profile picture and I'm sure you can click on there with 3 dots or your actual profile and you can choose YouTube settings, and there is somewhere in there for blocked users, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to stop and have a look at that, but I can't right now. If someone else wants to do that, have a quick look in the YouTube settings for Chrome and see how to unblock someone and pass on that information. That would be extremely helpful. And I'm going to turn these fans around. I'm sure I turned these around for a reason last time. But I think it's because the logo was around the wrong way when I did it last time. So, well, it's basically going to be, this is going to be what it is. So if it is around the wrong way or the logo is around the wrong way, it's just going to stay around the wrong way because no one cares, do they really? If you're looking that far inside a PC to look at the logo on a pump, then clearly you don't want a PC. You should be going to IKEA or an art gallery. I was concerned when I got this actually, first of all, that these little plastic covers wouldn't come off, or they were kind of soldered in or something, or glued or something. But they do seem to want to come out. Let's go to the overhead so you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, you did make a cup of tea, didn't you? Well done.
Yeah, because I have no cats on me.
Absolutely no cats. Where are they all gone?
They all went and had food and I haven't seen them since. I'm not complaining, there's a bit more of it than
For those of you wondering what that bit is there, that is actually like an expansion bladder. So it's like a rubberized bladder there. So if for some reason the fluid overheated and got very warm, rather than actually bursting a blood vessel at one of the joints or the pump or the radiator splitting, that actually blows up like a little miniature balloon. So it's like an anti-leak technology. It's pretty cool.
Smith says there are some decent deals on high-end AMD GPUs on CEX at the moment. Has anyone been tempted?
I can honestly say I haven't been tempted with a high-end AMD GPU, pretty much for the reasons I said earlier. If I was just doing gaming and using my PC as a normal PC, I think I'd be considerably more tempted to. But because of video editing and because of streaming, etc., the NVIDIA cards, as much as I hate them for what they do to the market, they are, at the moment, the better solution. If, when the 7000 series launch on, I think it's November the 3rd, is it? Or November the 2nd? So, well, the announcement is on the 2nd or the 3rd, so they probably won't release, well, normally it's a month later, so I'm guessing they're going to release them the 2nd of December, I would guess. And that is just a guess. But normally it's like 4 weeks after the announcement is when they launched, when they actually release these things. So it'd be interesting to see what actually comes out. What are your thoughts on the 7000 series from AMD? From what we've seen at the moment from certain kind of rumor sites and leaks, that sort of stuff, it does appear that, on paper at least, that the next generation AMD graphics card should be somewhere in the region of kind of twice as fast as the existing one. Which is bloody mad, really. It genuinely is. Because that is an extreme performance upgrade. And if they can do it for the same price as the previous generation, like launch prices, I think they would have a very serious competitor. From what we also understand as well, that the ray tracing performance is somewhere in the region of 2 to 3x what it was. So that would bring it easily into line with the latest from the 4000 series from NVIDIA. So potentially, like, everything is looking as if it's really good. And they also appear to have done it on a very minimal power budget. Which, if they can do that, all of those things, and bring them in at a non-heart attack inducing price, then I think they're going to be onto a winner. I really do. But we've heard it all before. We've all seen the Radeon, what was it, the Fury card, and the Vega 64s and all that kind of stuff. So we're used to disappointment on the AMD front. Just hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll actually knock it out of the park. Yes, Kath.
Hugh Luttrell's asked, can you install the water cooler before installing the motherboard?
You can do it. Yeah, I don't see any reason why you can't. I think for me, it would probably be a little bit obstructive to the motherboard, doing things like the top PCI Express connectors. Sorry, the CPU, the 8-pin connectors. Can't think what they're called now. EPS. The EPS connector in the top corner, I think, would be a little bit of a struggle to get to. But yeah, you do it. This is like Meccano or Lego. It's just basically do whatever works. If it works for you, then do it.
James Brock, back to what I was talking about, negative airflow case, that you could mount an AIO radiator in the front without the fans and mount the fans as exhausting out the top and back, and betcha temperatures would be in normal limits. I don't know if that's to you.
Yeah, negative temperatures or negative pressure cases can work out quite well. The only downside for a lot of people is in this modern world that we live in, where we've got a lot of other electrical devices and we've got man-made fibers, etc. You generally tend to get a lot of dust build-up with a negative pressure system because it's kind of pulling in from everywhere, regardless if it's filtered or not. So that is why positive pressure sometimes is a better option, because it's then you're normally pushing in air from areas which are filtered. So then the filtered air is coming in and it's pushing air out through all the vents. So in theory, limiting dust. It doesn't always work that way, but it can do.
Well, Bill says radiator should have been on the side where...
What's that? Radiator should have been on the side?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but then it's the whole pipes at the top thing, which means it's going to be noisy as all hell within a couple of weeks. And then I get the phone call, my computer is making a noise, and it's got steam coming out of it. And not in a good way. See, this is where the pump head should... That is going to be better down there. I like that. That looks better to me, swirled around. But that is going to make it so that the pump head is round the wrong way. I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm just a rebel. That's how it's going to be. I'm a rebel without any balls. Oh, poor Flame.
Oh, he had some lovely pompa.
Intel, don't want Intel. Let's go with AMD. What time is it? Bloody 9:30. What do we want? Those two and those two. Those can go back in the bag. Hey Poppy Dora, don't pick up any of the bits that are metal on your collar. Otherwise I may have to cry. Get in the box. There you go.
Oh, she loves Dave Bacon's spot.
I can't remember how this goes together. I might have to actually look at the user manual.
No, Poppy Dora.
No. What's she doing? I'm just saying no anyway. Option number 1. Number 2. So those go upwards. Okay. So that's got to go in there. And let's get the little screwies out. What a pain this is turning out to be. I remember when PC building used to be easy. And cheap. And now it... I just saw someone like you just now, Poppy.
And she thought she could go fishing for my feet in this bowl. It's much more fun up there, isn't it?
I'm going to have to find or develop a way so I can have the screen there, so I can look across at the notes. I needed like one of those things that we had at Casualty, you know, like a little cow thing, like computer on wheels, so I can just wheel it around. That would be awesome. That would make life so much easier.
Look at her.
Or a swan neck mount on there with a tablet on it. And then every time,
Eyes?
then I'll be like,
And with your eyes?
yeah, but I have to put the magnification on about 200. Or just put my glasses on. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid, eh, Pops? Yeah, because I can't even see the chat. Mike's on boxing reviews and cat training. Christ. Those cats get the better of me, that's for sure. Especially when they're bloody evacuating their bowels all over my bloody carpet.
What are you sleep and I clean?
Yeah. Right, where is my magical...
Did you take your cover off?
Is that light? Oh, it is working.
You could have that when you're reading your tablet.
Yeah, I could do that for the super chats. No, that's definitely not going to work.
Cause a fire.
Right, thermal paste application time.
Did you take your...
Still using the thermal grizzly in the Arctic MX4 syringe.
I warned you twice, so when you don't, I don't know. My fault, isn't it?
What's that?
Nothing.
No, I have taken the plastic cover off.
Okay.
Oh God, I think I've just used the last of that now. Right, where's my spreader? There he is. Let's turn this around so you can see what I'm actually doing. So spread the paste on there. We should mention as well that I should have actually tested this board, make sure it works before we did all this. I'm pretty sure it does. I haven't used it since I last did the unboxing on it. It'll be fine. What's that? Famous last words?
No, the spreader, that's what he calls his wang. The sausage fingers are blocking my view.
James, piss off. That was James, I guess, was it?
Yeah.
Thought it would be.
Bill, I always spread now.
What's that?
Wild Bill always spreads.
I don't think it makes a huge difference, but for me, and probably for a lot of people out there, if you're not entirely sure if you've got a good application on there, using that method does actually work quite well, in my opinion. I've actually taken the plastic cover off. That's always a good start.
It was James Brook, by the way.
What they said about the sausage fingers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, did I say?
You said James, but James Miscellaneous was just making sure you weren't accusing him.
It's the bloody James brothers.
And
They're both as bad as each other.
Gamemax is on it now.
You get both of
It
those.
was a sausage video.
Do you realise how long I have to cry myself to sleep at night after you lot all being horrible to me? I go out there, I'm literally wiping my eyes with £20 notes. It's just a horrific sight. My counsellor gets really upset because I throw those snotty 20s in the bin after. But just so you know, that's what is happening. You're sending me all to a very dark place.
Show the copper plate.
No sticker on there. It's actually there. I have done it this time. And I've put paste on the CPU. I am going to have to, turn this around a little bit so I can actually get access to it. My apologies if you wanted to actually see me mounting it, so to speak.
The new plastic banknotes are great for wiping dry snot off. I think Uphere went a bit too quick for his own typing.
Oh, I forgot about it.
That is looking like a really nice computer. Hugh.
Thank you, Hugh. I'm glad to know that someone appreciates what I do.
But James Miscellaneous said we are pro sausage fingers though.
Oh, we're a pro sausage. Oh, that's right.
Wang fingers.
Wang fingers. You fuckers.
They didn't say that. I made that up.
Oh, you said that. Oh, that's right then. As long as it's just keeping it in the family. Jesus. Right.
There's a screw missing on the copper backplate.
Oh, I'm not even going to fall for that. No chance. That is not happening. I'm not in a million years going to open this.
Shall we go back on here?
Yeah, Kath will rewind it and validate your claim. But I claim bullshit, sir. If there's a screw missing, I'll just rely on compression to keep it in place. It'll be fine. And if it's not fine, well, I'll sell it. This is not my problem. That's not the attitude, is it? Right, so we've got a splitter here. So this is going to be plugged into the CPU fan header at the top of the motherboard. And the reason why, because normally if you've used the AIO before, there's various ways you can do it, I suppose, depending on how you want to do it. But for me personally, I like to have the pump from the AIO permanently connected to the AIO header, running somewhere between 75 and 100% all the time. And then the CPU fan header, that is going to dictate from the CPU temperature how fast the fans on the radiator spin. Oh, and that one don't even spin.
No.
Oh man, why is that catching on there?
Ugly Bob thinks that sounds like a new Bond movie. Wang finger.
Wang fingers, he's the man with the golden wang.
He's the man with the wang.
Oh dear, I think we all need a holiday. I do. Oh, that's gonna be... I'm getting upset with this already. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable, sir. Okay. So, the radiator... This has not been thought through. So the radiator fan, because it's got slightly exposed blades there, it's actually catching on the EPS 12 volt cable in the top corner because of the bend it's on.
But if you put the radiator to the side...
If I'd have put the radiator to the side, it would have been fine. And in fact, if I move the radiator towards the front more so... No, that's not going to work, is it? How am I going to stop that from happening? I may have to find some kind of modification there. Actually, there is a tie-down point there. Alright, it's alright. No, panic over. There is a tie-down point, so I can actually just get a cable tie there just to hold that in place so it doesn't affect it. It's not a problem. Not a problem. We can deal with it. All in our good time. It's fine. No panic. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
Is the rad movable?
The rad is movable. Once it's been installed, you can put it wherever you want in there, really. So if somebody wanted to move things elsewhere, they're certainly able to do so.
Well, Bill called it. Told you should have side mounted it.
CPU fan optional, CPU fan. I hate when they put two fan headers next to each other. I suppose actually I could have just plugged them in.
Go on, get those little wangs in.
Come on, get in there and stay there. Yeah, this is... I should have put it on the front. Or the side. Or anywhere else other than this, really. Is that catching on that one? No. Yeah, that... I am beginning to question this now.
Can you get right-angled EPS adapters?
Yes, you can. I think it's more the fact that these fans are actually not a particularly good design with that kind of open blade design, because the whole point of actually enclosing a blade is to stop it hitting things. So if they were enclosed blades, it'll be fine.
Bad workman and all that.
A bad workman blames Gamemax. Right, let's see what I can do
Tech
here.
Team GP, build a PC, guys with a tongue twister, blindfolded, next week's challenge.
No.
What about if you cable tie two of your wangs together?
If I cable tied my wangs together, that'd do it, yeah.
And you only had 4 wangs altogether to build with.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're enjoying it too much, I feel.
So you'd have 4 wangs and the thumbs.
Ah, there it is. Right, so let's pull those out the way. Where's my argb? 1 argb, 2 argb, 3 argbs. If you heard my son then shout out, "Oh, bollocks," I'm assuming
It runs in the back.
he's just discovered that he cannot do things with his wang.
Oh, this is going to be called the Wang build from now on. Ugly Bob member for 14 months.
Bless you, Ugly Bob.
I can't believe we've had members for that long.
I can't believe we've been having a YouTube channel for that long. And somehow we've not been kicked off by YouTube for saying silly things. Right. Get out of the way. Hey, USBs, get out the way. They're not USBs either. Let's plug in some of these doodahs.
Hey Mike.
Hey.
Ostro.
Hey, Ostro.
Have you ever built a water-cooled loop for a PC build?
I haven't, no. I would like to do so. I have actually just purchased a RTX 3070, which I actually genuinely would like to put a water block on it, because the early 20 series GPUs didn't have fan stop. So when it's idling, the fans are still going at like 40%, which is a little bit distracting at times, but I've got it on now and it's not really affecting anything in terms of the actual audio quality. So it's not like imperative, but it's something that I certainly would like to do. And because it's a Founders Edition, it's going to be quite easy to get a block for. And thank you for the super chat, Bob.
What a super chat.
Super sticker. Ugly Bob says YouTube is ass-ho. There you have. Proven themselves.
Call it the Wang Show in case it upsets a certain Canadian texture. That's what I call it, the Wang Show.
The Wang Show. The Wang Show.
I always call it that.
That's not a bad idea. I would like to upset Linus.
Oh,
Bless his heart.
these solar panels.
Yeah, solar panel freak. Right, I'm going to cable tie this, well, cable.
Chunky Weenie only came in once, didn't he? And
Chun-
yeah, he's always...
Yeah, Chunky Weenie is one of those kind of memorable folk. Forever and ever, Chunky Weenie. Come on.
CP White's off, I think. Wang
Cheers,
chat.
CPT White. Or Captain White even.
Atypical Mel. Cable management is so much fun. My OCD helps a lot. I just finished a build in the White Be Quiet 500DX with a, I don't know how you say it, 12700K.
Yep.
And 3070 Ti.
Nice.
I can post pics in Discord.
Please do. Post your pics in Discord. We do like to see pics of your builds. And don't feel that it's going to be one of those things with our Discord that if you post pictures of a build, which maybe isn't immaculate, that you're going to get slated, because we're not like that. We are not YouTube ass-ho. We are wangtastic. I'm smiling, but I'm crying on the inside. Right, let's get this damn graphics card in and see if this thing actually lives. It will do. I am slightly concerned about that cabling. I might have to, at some point, you know those little sticky things you can get that you can put cable ties onto, like this little square you can put cable ties through to loop things. I might end up going back in there after taking the radiator out and putting some kind of little sticky bars in the back just to cable manage it a little bit better. I don't think it doesn't really need it, but
still finds no one's blocks when he clicks on participants. I think William needs to do it on this side, doesn't he?
oh yeah, it might be William might have accidentally done it on this side. I don't know. YouTube does some weird things.
But I haven't seen William in chat for a while anyway.
Yeah, has anyone actually blocked William?
No, James Brock's checked, he hasn't blocked it.
Ah, right.
But he doesn't see his chat. But William Bood is back in. Tell him to look. I don't know where you go. Can someone tell William what to do to get
Someone please tell William what to do to unblock James Brock.
we think.
Possibly, maybe. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I've seen William in there tonight, but I haven't seen him for a while. He's in there now.
Good. Graphics card inserted. These screws feel like they screw in forever. Whoever thought it was a good idea to start doing black PC parts clearly hasn't got my eye vision.
Or your hands.
Or my sausage-like fingers. Right, let's do some GPU pluggery innery. Pluggery innery, that's a new one. I will definitely be writing that one down. That's why I'm a journalist. Or rather, that's why I'm not a journalist. There we go, we have the power, we have the technologies. I'm going to have to cable manage that a little, I think, because that just looks bloody awful.
So William needs to go to myaccount.google.com/blocklist.
Ah, there you go. William probably heard that.
Alessa's put it in the comments.
Thanks, Aletta. Right, I think that is done. There we go. How does that look? I think that looks alright. I'm going to put the back panel on. I'm not going to put the side panel on because that is just tempting fate. Oh, did I plug in? I'm sure there's something I haven't plugged in. SATA. What did I have SATA for before? RGB. RGB's connected through there. That should be it.
Mike's campaign to return to 1990s simple PC build and green PCB with cream plastic cases.
Cream cases, yes. I prefer cream cakes though. Thanks, O'Reilly, for your £10 super chat. Much appreciated.
And Matthew Day says you need the LTT screwdriver crafted from the finest unobtainable Neil.
Yeah. LTTscrewdriver.com. I think an LTT screwdriver is something that I can definitely live without. GPU is sagging. Don't. Is it because that? Let's move that up a bit. Where is my... I need a spirit level. Where's the spirit level? I've got one somewhere. I'm sure. What did I have a spirit level on recently?
The floor?
No. The... Oh, where was it? It was on the back of the monitor.
84 Mels put videos in. I put a video and a build in Discord.
Oh, cool. Thanks, nice one. I will have a look. If I can find... Where's my bloody level gone? Oh, sod it. Anyway, there's no point using a spirit level in here because half of the bloody floors are unlevel because I put them in.
That GPU Asperger's droop.
It's not, it's the angle. It's fine. Uh-oh, glass.
Did you use it last on your wang?
Right.
Spirit level.
Right, at this end here. Actually, I know what I can do. I can use a measuring stick. So this end here, where should I take the measurement from? Let's take it from the bottom. So that is 64 it says on that measure, whatever 64 is. And yeah, it is a few millimeters out, right there. Yeah, it is very slightly out. I'll give you that. I'm gonna have to find something to stick under there now. What can I stick under there?
Poppy.
Nope. Aha! Oh, nope.
Bit of laminate flooring.
Leftover laminate flooring bracket.
Make it match the floor.
Do you know what? If that was cut down a little bit on that end, that would be...
Get your jigsaw.
There we go. It's bloody perfect now. Laminate flooring for the win. I want to see the replay on that. There, that looks awesome. Right, let's see if it actually turns on. We'll give it the sausage approval. Plug it in and see what happens. Probably not a lot. Whenever I turn something on that end socket, it always makes the screen, that monitor, turn on and off.
It's as pissed as Bob.
Blow me. CPU light.
Mark it as I have a spirit level in my blood and it's quite high in alcohol.
I have to turn the lights off. I think that looks all right. Angel sent a Snapchat. She's off her head. Off her head. I'll do that one. Oh, God. There we go. How's that looking? I can't even see what it looks like on the screen.
Didn't do bang.
I didn't do a bang. It didn't go bang either. It works. I'm happy. And it's doing... Oh, actually, it's got some weird LED thing going on the actual motherboard, so it hasn't booted. I wonder if I can plug that in.
Looks like a unicorn jizzed in it. It's just your fingers.
It has got unicorn jizz all over, hasn't it? I think that looks pretty cool. I like the look of that. Decent amount of airflow. Nice bit of airflow at the top. Half decent out the back. Yeah, I think that's worked out quite nice. Where's the magnetron thing? I like the RGB down the bottom. It's also actually got that on the back as well, which is totally unnecessary. But as you can see, it is there. Where is all that noise coming from? Power supply. Along with an unusual smell of almonds and burning.
Wangtastic.
Wangtastic build. That's pretty good. I like that. It has got an RGB light, hasn't it, somewhere? Oh, there we go. Now, obviously, when you press the RGB button, it's not going to affect the RAM because the RAM isn't wired to the RGB controller. So if you imagine if the RAM was not RGB, you could then have various different effects. So that's now on the motherboard, so that should be in sync with the RAM as well. And if I tilt it down a bit, You see the AIO at the top there.
It's almost 3D.
It does look a bit 3D, doesn't it?
In real life, I don't know what I could have done on there. Oh, it doesn't look.
And even RGB on the power supply on the bottom as well.
What is the OEM of PSU?
The OEM of the PSU, I don't know. As far as I know, it is actually Gamemax make them. I actually find that hard to believe. But Gamemax in Taiwan is actually a massive company. But Gamemax UK is kind of like a weird, almost like a subsidiary or like a licensed vendor of Gamemax. It's kind of weird how it works. But Gamemax himself, if you look at Gamemax's website, so gamemaxpc.com, that has got everything they do on it. If you go to Gamemax UK, it's a very, very small portion of what they actually do make and sell. So yeah, it's I don't quite understand the logistics of how it works, but yeah, unlike some companies like where you've got maybe, I don't know, MSI UK sells everything that MSI Taiwan make, Gamemax work in a very slightly different way. I guess there's some things which in the sort of Taiwanese market would make sense there but don't make sense here, and vice versa. Or maybe it's just the shipping costs for certain items are just prohibitively expensive, so rather than do every single case that they make, they just do a kind of a select chosen few which they feel would work best in the UK market. I'm not entirely sure really. I should speak to them about it and see what the deal is. I did kind of ask them, but I didn't really get a reply, and they changed some of the staff there, so that didn't kind of pan out as expected.
Total cost? Was it $595 in the end?
Total cost I think was about
35 quid off 600.
Yeah, it was about £600 for argument's sake, was pretty much what realistically you'd be looking at, I guess.
Can you read William Bailey's?
I will. I think. Let me get this on here.
Bang!
It's very kind of you. She did bad.
Oh, Grumpy waking you up, Pops.
Those fans do need tempering, don't they? That does look pretty cool, actually. I do like that.
It does look much nicer in real life. Oh, no, never does it justice, does it?
I don't really want to do the peel, but
You made me speak through it.
it's pretty cool. And it looks a little bit different. It's not the usual kind of every PC looks the same. Yes, very good. I'm not too sure what the motherboard's on. I think the motherboard is on crack. Or it needs to be, yeah, it needs to do some memory tuning. I will be doing some benchmarks and tests on this in the coming week, I guess. I'm not sure if I might do a bit of a rebuild on it as well. There might be some parts I might swap out after going through this and seeing what works and what doesn't. I'm actually tempted to swap out the power supply. The power supply is a little bit on the noisy side, I feel. This is just something which I don't like. Some people don't mind it. I like a PC to be nice and quiet so that when the fans are settled down, you can basically have it turned on and you don't know the PC is there. There is something about the fan on these Gamemax power supplies which just is a little bit on the noisy side, where it's kind of spinning a little bit too fast, I feel. Ooh.
Ooh, blackboard.
Sorry, headphone users.
Wangs on blackboards.
Right, let's see if I can turn it off. Right, hit the lights, Kath, please. I better pack some of this away and answer some of your folks' questions.
Just one would be enough now?
Yeah, one will be fine. Thank you. And I'll pack some of this away. So let's have a look at the questions. What are people thinking? Legs akimbo. Thank you for that, Stuart.
You're talking about Kenny Everett.
All right. Mark MC says, looks class for that price. Thank you very much. Peel slower UTs, says Ugly Bob. Rick H coming with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. and says Thermalright LGA 1700 CPU contact frame 17XX BCF. I didn't see what was that for, but thank you for the super chat, Stuart. Much appreciated. Stuart Cleary says, sorry I missed the cost. What was it again? It's about £600, give or take a few pence. So that's based on kind of mostly used parts. Let me go through it again actually when the light comes on. We'll discuss the parts costs again. So for those that weren't at the beginning of the video, we'll know at the end. So case. So if you want to add this up, I don't know if Kath, can you do that again? I'll try and... some of the things I would have to look up again because I'm not sure exactly what I paid for them, but realistically these are going to be kind of ballpark what I paid roughly. So we're looking at the case itself for £35, so that's the Gamemax Trooper. Then we can say, let's go with the cooler. So a 240mm AIO, the Gamemax one in here, realistically about £55 I think it was. You can sometimes get it a little cheaper than that, but 55 is what we're going to say. The RAM will say 80. I think it costs possibly slightly more than that when I bought it, but that's kind of what you'd get it for nowadays. 16 gigs, DDR4, RGB stuff, so Corsair, that sort of stuff. Go LPX, save 20 quid. Processor was 100. Waiting for it to catch up.
Ugly Bob did a super sticker of a unicorn pukey.
Oh, thank you, Bob. I didn't see that. I can't see anything actually. I can't see the screen at all.
So that's why I was caught out. Oh.
Sorry. The motherboard, which is the B550 Prime Plus. Normally that is quite expensive, about $130 I think, but I got it from either CCL or Amazon. I'm not too sure which I got it from, and it was like a clearance one, and I'm pretty sure that was £75 or so, thereabouts. The NVMe drive, I'm sure I paid 70. Power supply in the region of about £50. I would kind of budget for that. I probably wouldn't get that one, to be honest with you. Although I haven't seen what their new version is like, so don't rule it out entirely. Graphics card, normally somewhere between 200 and 250, so I'm saying 200 is kind of like the low part. We've not put the fans in, which would have been an extra 35, so we can ignore that. So I think that is it. So yeah, cooler, motherboard, processor. Yeah, what's that come out as at the moment?
615. I don't know
615.
what went wrong there.
I think I'd probably put on a little bit extra for the motherboard, possibly, against what I said earlier. But yeah, around about £600. If you're shopping a little bit more sensible, with that processor, you could possibly go with just the stock cooler. It's not going to be ideal, but it will get the job done. That's going to save you 40, 50 quid. Pretty decent saving. Go with LPX RAM, you could probably save another 20 quid. Graphics card wise, you're probably not going to get much of a better deal than a 5700 XT for 200 quid, in my opinion. You might find some lunatic on Facebook Marketplace who doesn't know the value of what they've got and they might sell it cheaper than that. I would struggle. I did have a brief look and I've not found one less than £200. And even going to like CEX, I probably might even consider going to CEX. You probably will pay a little bit more, maybe $225, $250, but you do get a 2-year warranty with that as well. So when you're buying a used GPU, sometimes that's something you might want to look at. Or alternatively, rather than going for the 5700 XT, maybe put a little bit of extra cash with it and go for something like the RX 6600, which isn't going to be a million miles off performance-wise. It's going to be very close, and then you could get a brand new card, but you're going to be probably spending closer to probably about 250, 300, depending where you get it from. Kind of swings and roundabouts. This is probably going to be better when it comes to some of those 1440p titles and higher settings, whereas the 6600 is probably going to be absolutely fine for 1080p, kind of medium-high. So depending on what your resolution is you're playing at and what sort of quality settings you want, either one's going to be fine. You could always even... There's not really anything on the NVIDIA side of things at the moment which would make that much sense. If you can pick up a 2060 Super for around about the sort of 180 to 200 maybe. They're really weird, this 2060 Supers. They go for kind of either ridiculous money or ridiculously low money. The midpoint is kind of really hazy, so again, sort of 250-ish you'll probably be looking at. But yeah, overall, we know what it's going to game like. It's going to be absolutely fine. The graphics card is going to do most of the heavy lifting. The 3600 is going to plod along. It's not going to use an absolute ton of energy. It's a 65 watt part. Realistically, all core loads, you're probably looking around about 100 watts, fully loaded. The GPU, I think, is 225 watts. I think. It's got an 8-pin and a 6-pin, so that is going to be 150, 300, take off a bit, yeah, about 250 watts, I guess, around about that sort of level. Maybe a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I've never really measured it, but it's certainly going to be pretty efficient, and the combined system is probably going to be in the same sort of ballpark as a single modern graphics card, especially like the 40 series. So yeah, I think it's pretty good, and it looks pretty nice. Bit of metal on the front there for the front panel, which is actually quite unusual. Normally stuff like that would be plastic. I'm sure that's metal. Yeah, it is metal. It's got a very nice reassuring thud to it as well. Like, boom. It's really well made, actually. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure this case is, if it's not from the same place, it's from somewhere very similar to where InWin do some of their cases, like the 101C. It's got so many little design things which remind me of that case. But yeah, so 600 quid-ish, you could have a PC at this, and it would be extremely enjoyable and play all the games you want to very easily, 1080p, some at 1440p. Happy days indeed. Right, let me put this to one side, and then we'll go and take a look at some of your chats, and we'll discuss any other pressing issues you may have, not including my sausage fingers. Mystery says, I want 1440p stupidly high quality. Don't we all? Actually, saying that, I don't. I was playing Batman Arkham Knight, and playing that last night, 1440p on super ultra nutty bastard, and it was actually quite enjoyable. But it is an older game now. It's probably, what, 5 years old, is it? Arkham Knight? I'm not entirely sure. Jesus, that's heavy. Is this even the right bag? Feels like they've given the wrong bag for this. Hey.
KZA33. Just finished building my PC with no small help from your guys, so thanks so much for the great content.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Who's that from?
KZA33.
KZA3. What can I say? Oh yeah, KZA333. Just finished my meal. Blah, blah. Awesome. Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it.
And Lewis G's a new builder.
Hey Lewis G.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. In that case then you probably want to head over to our Discord, and you can ask many, many questions there. And actually, I'm very pleased to say that at the moment we've got some new members from across the pond in our Discord. So there's a little bit more activity going on there during the midnights, well, the kind of like the early hours for us here in the UK. So if you do want to go over and join our Discord, and you're concerned that there's not going to be anybody on there at certain times of day because we're UK based, then you have no need to worry. It's absolutely fine. There's generally going to be someone there pretty much all the time now, which is cool. Right. Motherboard done. Gamemax power supply. That is the worst thing about PC building and all these boxes. That there's so much stuff to keep hold of. And I do try and keep hold of all the bits and pieces that come with cases and motherboards and all that kind of stuff. Because you never know, if you sell it on or something happens and for whatever reason you have to get rid of stuff, it's actually quite nice that you can send it all in its original boxes with all the bits and pieces.
I think they think we're just offloading our rubbish though, to be honest.
Yeah. It's quite funny actually when someone comes to collect a PC and I'm like, do you want to hand out with all the boxes? And you can just see their face die. Oh God. All those boxes.
I think they just think we're offloading rubbish on them.
Yeah.
Not knowing that
It's actually useful. Oh, and also I should say thanks to Patrick LaBelle. It was Patrick when it sent that thing. Patrick LaBelle sent us a little RGB thing which I'm going to light up shortly.
FX Reflex.
FX. David Underhill's in the house as well. How you doing? Oh, God. Where is it? Lewis G says, you have a Discord? Yes, we do. And it's actually, I know I'm going to say it anyway because obviously it's kind of our Discord, but it is a very cool Discord because we're not really kind of overly crazily anal about rules and regulations. Obviously if people are being dicks,
Lewis is only 13.
there you go. Sorry, Lewis. If you're only 13, that's fine, but obviously there will be the occasional curse word, as there is on YouTube and in life.
FX Reflex still.
FX Reflex, sorry. FX Reflex. Can't even see it. Where is it? FX Reflex.
I'm going to help.
It's not helping at all. I can't even see where it says. FX Reflex has just smiled twice.
No,
and again.
Up.
Oh, FX Ref... Where to?
Under Lewis saying I'm going to join now.
Oh, right. Cheers, GGG. Atypical Mel.
Shall I just read it?
FX Reflex. Anyway, I could ship parts to you. Oh, where is it? Is it further up as well?
No, that's the one.
Oh, right, okay. FX Reflex. Anyway, I could ship parts to you so you could build my PC. I have no idea how to do it.
Is there anyone in that region?
Yeah, what region are you in? FX Reflex, if you don't mind saying. If you don't want to say it in a open forum, then please feel free not to. Or if you just want to give a general direction or a country, that would be... Country would be a starting point. Because we do have members around the world, so potentially there might be someone in your neck of the woods that might be able to hook you up. Generally, I don't tend to offer that sort of thing. Postage is an absolute pain in the arse.
West Midlands, Birmingham.
West Midlands, Birmingham. So, there is a few people that we have as part of our community in that region, depending whereabouts you are, but there is, well, I would say best thing to do is hop onto the Discord at some point, say hello, come and have a chat, and we'll see what we can do for you. There's a couple of people I can think of immediately that are in that sort of neck of the woods, which may be able to be within kind of drive-in distance, or maybe you could meet halfway. And these would be people that I would personally trust to do it. When it comes to shipping stuff, obviously you live in the UK, so you've probably got an idea of what the economy and stuff is like at the moment. It isn't great. Everything is super, super expensive. And also the fact that shipping a PC is not an easy thing to do, and things do get broken. Shipping things like a PC in parts is fine because most of it has got its own individual boxes and stuff. So there's not really a great deal that can go wrong there. But having said that, if you when you fully assemble it, like that graphics card in there being slightly skew, you imagine if that was bouncing around in the back of some driver's truck for a couple of days, quite easily things can go quite badly wrong. So I wouldn't ship a PC to anybody. A laptop I probably would, but a PC I think is probably asking for trouble. And also it's one of those things that if it does turn up and it's damaged, it's like, well, how did it get damaged? Did you damage it? Did the driver damage it? Did I damage it? There's too many grey areas in it.
One of the subscribers sent a PC to their nephew, didn't they? And it just kept getting really broken.
Yeah, there's actually it's happened a couple of times. Members of ours have sent PCs elsewhere and they've turned up basically smashed to pieces. Was it Antonio? Can't remember who it was, but yeah, someone was sending stuff and it was basically getting wrecked. And they did it a couple of times, so it's not something which I would normally entertain, to be honest with you. Yeah, get in the Discord and yeah, have a chat with people and all that kind of stuff. And you never know. someone should be able to hook you up. I am thinking, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I am thinking ClickTech Kev. Kev is actually in the West Midlands. Whether or not it's going to be obviously close to you. The West Midlands is actually quite a large place, so potentially could be on your doorstep or it could be miles away. I think, yeah, there's a few people. So if you just mention in the Discord where you are and in the one of the PC build rooms, say, I'm looking for help, I'm in this general area, is there anyone who can help? We'll keep an eye on it as well to make sure that no one's going to be taking advantage of you and all that kind of stuff. Because I do that kind of, almost like the kind of the fatherly and motherly thing. Me and Kath do keep an eye on things to make sure that things aren't going wrong or people aren't being taken advantage of. If we can take advantage of you, that's different. It's because it's our Discord. But we try not to. Right, that is done. Surprisingly, that actually went better than I thought it would.
A large place, no such thing in the UK. We have farms bigger than the UK.
That's true, yeah. It is quite a smallish place here. I've got a webcam, a handy cam on Facebook Messenger. It's 15 quid. And they're like, can you deliver? I'm actually half tempted to because it's quite easy to send. Might do. Right, let's have a look at your things. So, Tassos, the animal, says, I wish someday I could buy an RX 6600 8GB for 200 to 220 euros max. I don't think that is going to be too far off. If the 7000 series comes out and is actually reasonably priced, it's going to force the other lot down. So don't give up altogether. Team Drift Nation video. Amish, me as well, Mike Birmingham. Thank you, Amish. Yes, I didn't associate Amish with Team Drift Nation video. Why did I not put those two together? But yeah, Amish is basically a system builder. That's what he does.
I didn't know he was from
So,
anyway.
but I didn't realise he was in Birmingham. But there you go. As well, FX Reflex. If you do get the PC parts and you build it and you want to do it kind of in a live stream on Discord, you can do that. Just set up a camera and we'll talk you through it, or you can just post pictures and say, look, I've got these bits, where does this go? We can try and help you through. Alessa says, building a PC is easier than falling off a log. To be fair, I don't remember falling off any logs in my life, so arguably that is a correct statement at present, but it is subject to change at any time. Lewis G says, I just want to get a graphics card that can run Call of Duty Warzone. I didn't think Call of Duty Warzone was that difficult to run. You should be able to do that on like a 1650 or above, I would have thought, or a 1066 gig. James says, rare to see that table so empty. Yeah, I know, it's...
Oh, pull Poppy a bit nearer.
There we go.
Put Poppy nearer.
Come on, Pops.
Dave Aikens brought her bed today.
Ain't got any identifiable things on there, is it? Is that a business address on there, or is that a real address? It's a business address, that's fine. Sorry, Pops.
She's pretty chill.
There we go, just in case.
There we go.
There we go. Poppy is in the house. Right. Team Drift Nation, sorry, made this YouTube account up like a decade ago. Gotcha. Atypical Mel says most new builders get stuck around cables. I think even seasoned builders do as well, to be honest with you. It's overwhelming, but the rest can be learned easily. Yes, I agree.
Go up a bit, Andre.
Andre. Oh crap! I pressed the button in on the mouse. Andre, how's import taxes in the UK at the moment? AliExpress has some interesting deals right now. Mostly repurposed GPUs like RX 580 8 gig for 75 USD. Got one for less than 100 euros. Testing it now. I think import taxes. I've looked on AliExpress and Alibaba recently for stuff, and it seems that some things are like ridiculously expensive shipping wise. So like there was something I looked at recently. I can't think what it was. It was something quite mundane, like a CPU cooler or something, but the cooler was about $25, but then they wanted $16 postage, which seemed like ridiculous. So some things seemingly are very expensive, but other things much cheaper. Speaking of which, actually, we did have something from AliExpress today, while I think of it, from Patrick, one of our regular viewers. This is actually pretty cool. This is an M.2 cooler, a addressable RGB one, and in theory I suppose I should have put it in that build just then, but I quite like the look of this, so I think I'd rather keep it in my PC than anywhere else. So M.2 cooler, got an RGB strip on there. I'm not sure if that's a little bit of a trim on there. Looks like it's a bit scratched. I think it's got a protective coating on it. I'll find out. But yeah, it comes with some pads on there. I'm not too sure how you get it to stick into the drive. Whether or not these are sticky enough, or whether they're just thermal pads, or whether or not... Oh, there is very, very small little clamps in there. So the drive slots in and it kind of clamps around the drive. But I love those little things like that. Little RGB doodads. So 3-pin addressable RGB, plug it into a header. Actually, have I got one available there easy I can get to? Probably. Let's open this bad boy up. Yeah, there's one on the bottom I can get to. Typically, I'm not even in unicorn puke mode either, am I? If the PC behind me is too noisy, hashtag blame Dave. It's always Dave's fault. Let's see if I can stretch that long enough with my stumpy little fingers.
Well, Bill says Poppy's making him feel tired. Hashtag blame Dave because he brought the box for her. Not technically for her, but...
Ugly Pop says, oh, poster to me. Bless her heart. Let's give you the overhead. See her better there? There you go.
She is alive.
Pops. No.
Poppy.
She's had enough. Where is...
What are you doing?
Where's the J Rainbow connector? I'm sure there was more than one. Dusty in there. Ah, J Rainbow, there we go.
They can't see you.
I know. It's fortunate. Oh.
Ooh, mind your wangs.
Ignore the things and the fans. There we go. So you can see it now. There is that's the brightest white actually, isn't it? Considering the rest of it is white at the moment, or RGB. It's closer to the headset, I suppose. The fans, the Arctic fans, have got a kind of more of a slightly warmer white, I think. The RAM is much warmer, and against the green, it's a change of colour. Oh, stop doing that, Michael. That's really annoying. It's going to sound like that Gamemax PC when it's finished with. Where is MSI Center? Center. Let's go for Rainbow. Applying. There we go. I could stick it on there. Get rid of the GeForce GTX. Or RTX. How's that look? Actually, those RGBs are a nice colour, aren't they? They're really vivid. Not sure if it looks it on the camera, but in real life it does.
Yeah. Doesn't really on the camera, does it?
So that would normally be down on this bottom slot where there's not a cooler. So it would be kind of there.
Using come with 3 fans already.
What, this one?
I'm assuming the one you did the building tonight.
Oh, the one I did the building, yeah, it comes with 3 fans included straight out the gate. For 35 quid for a case and 3 fans and a controller is bizarre. I don't understand how they've... Well, clearly they're losing a lot of money on it. They must be. I can't imagine for... Well, normally the case I think was about 70 quid.
Looking at Mike when he had his back to us reminded me of the Hitman game I loved years ago. Not the Hitman and her.
No. Not Stock Aitken and Waterman. I am number 13. Is that what it was? Was it number 13? Was he the antagonist or protagonist or whatever the bloody thing is? Andy says import duty is around 20%. Yeah, I have no idea actually. Hugh Luttrell, have you seen some of them new motherboards come with M.2 cooler with a built-in fan? No, I've not seen... Well, actually, have I seen that? I might have done. It does sound vaguely familiar, but I can't think where I've seen it. Anyway, Patrick LaBelle, thank you very much for sending this over. It may actually wind up in that PC behind me, but I might have to get another drive to go in there if I do that. But much appreciated, thank you very, very much. And also as well, I should say thank you, massive shout out to William Bodie for sending over the keyboard, which I mentioned earlier, and all the other bits and pieces like the demagnetizer, and there's a flask over there as well, which I haven't got around to using yet, my apologies. Razer Huntsman Mini, an insanely small keyboard with insanely good key switches. If you've not tried one of these key switches, they are insane. If you're like your custom keyboards, I don't want to spoil it too much because there is a video coming out on this in the next few days, but this, I'm going to let you listen to the key switches because they're just bizarro. Yes, Patreon members, sorry about the lack of videos recently. We have been doing other stuff and been very busy, but we will catch up very shortly. So there is the Razer Huntsman Mini. Listen to these switches. Virtually silent. Such a nice feel to them as well. A little bit of thunk on some of them, but overall pretty uniform. Spacebar. A little bit of rattle on there. Stabilizers on these supposedly are pre-lubed, but I would say they probably need a little bit more lubrication. But this, the Wangtastic switches, all of them have been pre-lubed, and what was the other thing? There's 2 things they've done to the switches from the factory which you'd normally do at home. So they've been disassembled, they've been pre-lubed. I'm sure there was something else they said as well, I can't remember what it was now.
Pressing 4 keys at a time due to finger size.
Hurtful, very hurtful. So yeah, make sure you lube your wang. But yeah, an extremely nice typing experience. If you like silent switches, Kath, she goes mad. Because the noise...
I just turn my telly up now.
I do find it actually, after using this for a little while and going using my Corsair keyboard, which is a little bit quieter, and then using my MSI one up here, which has got the gator on. Poppy. Using the Kale Box Whites and that keyboard, they are considerably more clicky. A little bit annoying actually, but I like the keyboard itself. It's got a nice feel to it. Anyway, there we go. Sausage tested. James Brock says Corsair is overpriced. I agree. Corsair is insanely overpriced for some of their things. Some things are actually not too bad of value. Their RGB mouse, the one I've got on my desk at the moment, which is the M65 or M55 RGB, it's pretty good. Hello to Trev Good. And who I missed there? Uggs, what's he said now? Pressing 4 keys at the same time?
No, my broveries. I've just exploded looking at Bobby.
Broveries. Oh, do you hear that, Pops?
Oh, you're making Uggs broody.
That wake her up?
No. Don't be mean.
Come on, wake up, you. You'll be running around all night like a lunatic. Poppy dead? Pops? Come on. Camera's on. You're supposed to be jumping around the table like you normally do.
Where are we? It's like it's like out the car window.
Give her a steering wheel. Kaiser Solo 76. Hi Mike, just picked up a Gamemax Spark for a second build for my spare parts. Nice case. Yeah, I like the Gamemax Spark. It's slightly frustrating to take the side panels off. If you're someone who likes messing around your PC, taking side panels off regularly, then yeah, the side panels are a bit of a pain because you've got to undo those 2 back screws, unslide the top, then another 2 screws to take off the side panels. But yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Did you get it for a good price? That is the most important thing. And did you use my affiliate links if you did? And if you did, hopefully you spent lots of money on it. Where did I put my screws? Oh, there we are. I'm going to attempt to put this back on now. There is something about the Founders Edition 20 series cards that do look actually quite sexy. I know I did say previously that I wasn't going to send any more money to Nvidia, but needs must when the devil vomits in your teapot, and you gotta go with it, haven't you? And also Dave's done me a fantastic deal, so again shout out to Dave Aitken. It's a very silver looking card. There's a lot of silver accents to it, so I might have to try and do a kind of a silvery themed build of something. I'm trying to think what I could do. Something which is silver, which is very popular or common. I suppose I can't think of anything really. And they dialed it in right with the power connector on the back rather than the side, so it has a cleaner look on the side. I don't know how it went so wrong for Nvidia, from being like awesome stuff to being like ridiculous. It's amazing. It's amazing how much can change in such a short period of time. Nick Barnes says, do you find wireless keyboards seem to lose letters when typing? If you also use a wireless mouse, would the dongles clash? I don't, to be honest with you, I don't use a wireless keyboard. The only time I use a wireless keyboard actually is stream night, when I'm doing this, so this keyboard and mouse. And because I'm not typing and mousing at the same time, then I don't notice it. I wouldn't probably use a wireless keyboard and mouse for gaming. Especially if you're doing like first-person shoot-em-ups where you're using the arrow keys all the time. That would probably be a little bit likely. I'm guessing interference might play some sort of factor in that. Nick Barnes, I've done that one. David Andrew saying about the Uphere fans that we almost used tonight. They're pretty good actually. The only thing I found was the PWM curve on them was a little bit odd. So the kind of, you had to drop it down to maybe 20% and then right up to 60 or 70. It was very weird. Mishtech says ASUS Prime boards are wonderfully silver. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad shout. Leanne Lee also have some silver aluminium cases. Yeah, that might be something to look at as well. They do actually the Spark, the Gamemax Spark in silver. So I might see if I can get one of those. William Bodie, Catherine, Mike, did you find the bill for the keyboard? Yes, I did. That's an insane amount of money. You're a very, very bad man. Thank you. Kaiser Solo, 57 quid for the Spark. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think it must have dropped down. So I think it was nearly, was it closer to 70 at some point when I reviewed it? James Brock says even Poppy is bored at this point. She's on cardboard. Pops. Poppy. Right, you have to turn you around because the people want to see your boat race.
Oh.
There we are. Arctic P12 fans. Yeah, they're pretty decent. You like them? William saying at cafeteria not bill, I mean receipt. Yes. Yeah, we did find that. Yeah. Yeah, the keyboard was bizarre. It's weird because the Huntsman here in the UK has dropped down in price like quite a lot.
James Miscellaneous is off.
Oh, cheers, James. Miss Tech says, if you like the Spark, Ions do a KZ17, which is quite similar. I've noticed actually InWin have just come out with a range of cases. So they've got the A1, is it the A3 and the A5? Which is like ITX, Micro ATX and ATX. Might be A7 or A6 or something. But they look very similar. David Underhill says, I use 15 Uphere fans in my 2 builds. Jesus, 15 fans. James Brock says, I don't see William's comment. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's very peculiar.
Was William unblocked or?
Yeah, I don't think he's... Well, neither one of them are blocked on here because I can see them both, so it won't be our end.
It's either William or James, and James is checked, so...
Yeah, might be William needs to have a look at his settings to see if he is blocking by mistake. Right, I think that's going to wrap things up. We've rattled on for long enough and you're probably bored to tears by now. Hopefully you're not. Yeah, I think that's going to pretty much wrap things up. I'm going to do some more testing on that system. I might do another, like a wrap-up video on it when it's finally ready to go. Be ashamed to see it go, actually. It's a nice system. I will miss my 5700XT. That card has been fantastic for quite a while here in the Mub household, although realistically for the last almost a year, I guess, it was literally just sat in the box up on the shelf, just waiting for something to be used in, because I had my 2060 Super in there. I had whatever I had in my other PC. I can't remember what I had in there now. Christ, memory shot to pieces. Anyway, it'd be nice to have someone actually make use of it, use it for gaming, rather than all be sat in boxes here. So, thank you all so much. Hopefully you've had an enjoyable Saturday evening with us. Thank you all so much for your super chats and your continued support, and even just commenting. Sharing the video is awesome. If you can do it, great. Don't feel that you have to. Don't feel that you have to contribute in any way. If you just want to sit back and watch things go on and just chill, and be just a bystander, that's absolutely fine. The more the merrier. We like having you. If you feel confident enough, you want to have a chat with us, or you maybe want to reach out to us on our Discord and have a chat directly, then of course you're very, very welcome to do so. Again, massive shout out to everybody. Ugly Bob, as per usual. Your generosity is insane. Also, William Bodie, you're pretty much catching up, and for all the others that are sent in the super chats. Yeah, you all are amazing, and it's very humbling. It very much is, and hopefully you get to see some of your super chat monies actually reinvested into the channel and us buying new stuff and doing new things. I'm trying desperately not to go off on a tangent with all this new stuff. All as tempting as it is, I just don't feel in my heart that it is kind of the stuff that I actually want to be interested in. it's always been the budget or the kind of stuff that makes sense or good value for money, which has been something which we've tried to remain on that path all the time without going over the top. The odd thing every now and then, like a crazy case or something, I guess is okay, but I don't want to get into the habit of having expensive, like £1,000, £2,000 PCs being done every week or so, because I don't think it's, well, I don't find it that interesting, and it's just a benchmark jerk fest realistically, and I'm not really interested in going down that route. So hopefully you feel the same way and you're going to stick around with us and enjoy the mid-level and budget range like we do, well, as much as I do anyway. I'd carry on doing it regardless anyway. Super chat come in there, I didn't quite see who that was. Stuart Cleary, €10, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that is going to be it. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves. If you have, smash the like button, share the video with your friends, post it on Facebook, social media and all that kind of stuff. If you want to reach out, don't forget Discord or just drop me an email. If you're bored and just want to chat, feel free to just reach out. I'm generally sat at my keyboard somewhere, and yeah, I'm sure we'll find something to talk about which is interesting, even if it is just my sausage fingers. Anyway, that's been it for now. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you, and hopefully not Poppy, in the very next video.
Oh, she's leaving.
Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. See you next week, hopefully on time. Can't promise it. No worries. Speak to you later.